So today we have Apurav Bhatia with us, who is currently working with BDO, one of the big sixes. And Apurav is based from Gurugram. And Apurav is going to tell us what his whole journey, what his whole interview process, placements, and everything has been like. So, hi Apurav, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, Apurav, to start with, let's get to the main question that how did you get into BDO? BDO is one of the big sixes, so it's definitely on the target list of each and every qualified chartered accountant. They're definitely aiming off at getting into one of at least one of these six firms, right? Because from the perspective of growth, from the perspective of exposure or the brand that you get in is like completely worth it. So tell us your journey. How did you get into uh, video?
Okay, so getting to the BDO is like firstly, BDO doesn't hire from their own platform, like just like EY, Deloitte do. They don't do that. They
Okay.
actually majorly hire from the LinkedIn only. So
Acha.
I came across this thing from one of my friend relatives.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started putting myself towards the BDO's profiles, like where they were hiring like into the valuation, into the FTD, and all the deal advisory services. So I approached their HRs from LinkedIn, and then I was regularly following their post and all the messages they were saying that we are hiring into these profiles. So I was continuously getting in touch with them, mailing them my profile, mailing them my with the CV and the body which I am having. And then I got a call from them after 10 days of the mail I have dropped to them.
So can we say that you went through the procedure of dropping cold mails? That was one of the topics that
No, I
Shivam
cannot
mentioned.
say the cold mail because
Okay.
cold mail is something like getting their email IDs and just
Yeah.
mailing them. I
Yeah.
actually got this because of the LinkedIn. Like they were posting on the LinkedIn, the
So
profiles they
there
are
was a
open, and
proper opening for the position and you applied to the
right.
position. That is it.
We
So
can
but
say
the
that it's through the
uh,
LinkedIn, but it's not on the LinkedIn, but through the LinkedIn we have did this.
okay, okay. So your procedure, you got into this not through any campus placement, but directly like it is your own efforts that you put in and you bagged this role.
Actually, campus placement where you don't get these profiles like deal advisory, investment bank, FTD. So
Right.
that's why my focus was not on the campus. My focus was majorly off campus only.
Acha. So you were certain about what kind of profile you want, domain or profile you wanted to get into from the beginning itself?
Right. Yes, I was certain. I didn't even apply for statutory internally taxation. I have never applied for that.
Oh, wonderful. That kind of clarity I think everybody is aiming at. So what were your like what domains did you choose that okay, I want to get into this domain and this domain. So what is a list of criteria that you shortlisted?
Okay. Firstly, my major criteria was investment banking and finance profile. Like for the major criteria is finance. I
Mm-hmm.
want to get into the finance on anyhow. Then the subcategory is investment bank. Plus, I like to communicate with the people, like communicating with different minds, getting their thoughts done. So there are two things which I can pursue, like investment bank, which pursue me my career into finance, and second is consulting, where we can consult people and advise people over their thoughts and over their processes. So that's the only two way which I want to pursue: finance plus consulting. So I
Acha.
was looking into these things. Like if you go to the investment banks now for the first 2 to 3 years, you don't consult, you don't even
Yeah.
interact with the people because that was majorly done by the IM holders or MBA holders or rank holders. So it takes time. So I wanted to do this finance plus consulting thing.
Okay, so your main focus was not into everyday, but investment banking, management consultancy, and all of these profiles were
Can't
what?
say management consultancy because it's not towards the finance part. Like
Uh-huh.
management consultancy go towards the whole management processes. You can say like there are some startups also now they are doing CFO advisory. They
Yeah,
are
yeah.
doing like startups doesn't have their own CFOs and virtual CFO. Like it's
Correct,
trend
correct.
going for the virtual CFO. They are providing virtually CFOs to the multiple startups. So that kind of thing which actually involves consulting plus the finance domain in the company.
Absolutely. So then what is your current profile like? Like in video, what is your job profile or what is your position over there right now?
I'm associate in deal advisory services. deal advisory services covers multiple roles like FDD, valuation, and investment banking and corporate finance. So I'm into the part of the financial due diligence of deal advisory services. So as the name specify deal advisory services, so I cover my finance and consulting both.
Yeah, yeah. So you basically got what you wanted. Like your focus was
Yeah,
clear from the beginning, and you ended up landing a job which is absolutely serving
right.
what you wanted. Okay,
Yes.
that's great. So, since you mentioned that you got this job through the LinkedIn, you applied through LinkedIn whenever there was a vacancy and you went through the normal procedure. So, what was the procedure like, the placement or the interview process like? Can you just give us your insights on that?
Firstly, after the application, I got a first HR call,
Okay.
which he said that I am selected for the process.
Okay.
And then first round is with director.
Acha.
Directly, there is no manager or senior manager rounds. It was directly with director round where I have been tested over the technical skills. And then I got a call for the partner round. Usually, partner round doesn't happen after director. There is a one Excel round between these two things, the director and partner. But in my case, actually, partner was having the bandwidth and he was available at that time. So they took my partner round first, and then I got tested over the Excel skills. So usually there are three rounds: director, partner, and the Excel test, which they conducted for me.
Okay. So, what can you describe or give us a brief on these various rounds that you went through, like right from the director round? What were the technical questions? Meaning, were they specific to your domain? Like, what kind of questions were asked? If you could just share those with us.
Okay. Firstly, FDD includes a little bit of statutory audit because what we do in statutory audit, we go through the financials and we find out all the risk and the complexities. But we go as per the Companies Act, we go as per the guidelines and as per the schedules. But FDD is not like that. FDD is like going through the financials. We have to vouch the accuracy of financials to our investors. But the thing is, we are not going as per the guidelines.
Correct.
We
Correct.
doesn't move according to the essays, according to the accounting standards. Yeah, we just check the accounting standards are performed, accounting
Compliant or
standards are complied and all, but we don't do audit as in the FDD. But the thing what comes here is like we are doing FDD, right? Then they also check the statutory audit knowledge of yours, because if you're going through the sales, you're going through the trade receivables, you're going through the every line item of the P&L and balance sheet. We just came across some knowledge of the statutory audit for checking and vouching all these transactions. So they have tested my, at director level, they have tested my technical skills over the
wow.
statutory audit domain towards all the line items of P&L and balance sheet majorly. The director round was towards only this P&L balance sheet round, like,
Apurva,
and
just
then
give me 1 second. I'll just come in.
okay, so after director round, you will be having an Excel test where Excel test may you will be checked over your pivot skills and your dashboard skills. Yeah, how good you are into the making graphs and presentations. Because as you know, when you're preparing a report for the investors and you're preparing for the purpose of private equity or ventures, so they don't go over the numbers, because if they want to go to the numbers now, they can directly go to the financial statement. They don't want that. They want a presentation. They want actually a graph, like just they can see the trend lines and they can just make the scale,
Yes.
they can make their imagine like what the numbers are going on. So they don't want to get into the number, they just want, okay, what's the crux of that numbers you are analyzing. So that's the thing, like they will test on that thing, like how good you are Excel. Like if I give you 10 row line items and 10 columns, how you can present that into a one cell, like how you good are in Excel that you can make a crux of everything which you have received. So that kind of thing they check. And after then there will be a partner round. It went for 1.5 hours. It was
Oh
actually
my
the
goodness. Yeah.
biggest round I had. So they actually test, they don't test on statutory audit, don't even test on your any articleship experience. They have their own determined case studies. They have presented us 7 to 8 case studies, and we have to answer every case studies. It's like kind of the consulting interview they had. They are telling us the case, and I have to give the answer as per my theories and as per my thoughts, what I'm thinking at that time, according to the case they have served to us. So that kind of whole interview process it was.
Wow, that's really interesting and challenging at the same time. I'm sure that the 1.5 hours were like the most taxing 1.5 hours for you at that very point. So, what were the questions very challenging, or was it manageable for you?
It was very challenging. Malab, actually, the case studies were like they are testing on your thoughts. Now, if they answer you something like A plus B is equals to C, like I know the answer is C. After interview gets over, I can just check now that this answer is C. I have made the correct answer. I'll be got selected. That's it.
Mhm.
I'll get the offer letter. But here the case is they have presented you with a case study. You have presented your thoughts, and no one know who is correct. So it's
Absolutely.
like they will be questioning on, they will be judging you on your thoughts. So that's why I wasn't sure. Like with the 15 days I have waited for their answer, those 15 days was the only thing I was discussing my answers with my any of my friend, whether this answer is correct or not, because I have presented the case like this. So it's very judgmental on that thing.
Yeah. So, were you prepared for this round? Did you go through a lot of case studies before you actually went for this interview?
No, I have not gone through. Like one of my friend given this round 1 month back to mine. So he have told me that they will gonna ask you the case studies, 6 to 7 case study they will gonna ask. I have asked him let me know the case studies what they, but he forgot all the case studies.
Oh my
So
God.
that's what went. So I was aware that case studies will be gonna ask to me, but I was not knowing to any cases at that time. So even like we cannot go through any of the cases now because it's very
Yeah,
uncertain that what case
exactly.
they will ask. So
Exactly.
that's why I'm
But I think you
not
need to,
prepared for.
what is important in these kind of interviews is you have that kind of thinking process. You develop that kind of questioning mind, or the you ask the right questions and you come to the answer. So that is,
Yes,
I think, the approach is what you need to develop before you come to such
exactly.
interviews. Okay.
Yes,
So were you
exactly.
prepared for that mindset? Did you have that mindset of like what direction my answers are going to flow in, or how, what is
Yes.
my mindset is going to be, or what questions should I ask? Did you prepare for those at least before the actual interview?
Actually, the thing what happened now, he told me that the questions the cases he have been asked, my friend have been asked, the answers he was telling now it was very general way. So he
Acha.
wasn't get to selected over that answer. So I was
Correct.
sure that I couldn't give any general answer. I
Right.
have to be very precise. I have to be very specific over the terms I'm using. Because if I explain the things in very general way, na, in very layman language, he was not even selecting any person over that. So I was just going through the key terms, like I was going through the guidelines of the FDD, and I was also looking on the LinkedIn, the post people actually post about the FDD profile and how the FDD process carries on. Then I also connected some of the people who was working in Grant Thornton and some other big names in the FDD profile.
Mm-hmm.
Then there were 2 3 people who helped me a lot, like how the FDD process initiates and what are all the roles of the person who are making the FDD. So I just clubbed all the information and then I started studying it out and then just presented. But yeah, nothing helped me at that time because all the informations I gathered now the cases were different from that.
Completely different. So that uncertainty, the element of uncertainty always prevails. Doesn't matter how
Yes,
much you prepare or go, but what is going to come to you is going to be a total like a surprise. Like you don't know what to expect.
exactly,
But
exactly.
luckily you've answered them in the way that they wanted you to answer, and you've
Yeah.
landed the job. So that's really great. So you said that you were certain about your domain. You were fixed. Okay, I want to get into either investment banking or consultancy with regards to all these deal advisory and all that was the domain that you were targeting. So what other companies were you targeting? Like companies or firms, like audit firms, like BDO was one of them. What else? What other places were you trying your hands on?
I have targeted every company wherever I have got vacancies into these domains, no, like valuation, investment bank, corporate finance, actually EY, Deloitte, KPMG. I didn't got any call from KPMG and PwC, although I got calls from EY, Deloitte. Deloitte, I have also cleared the valuation interview, and then EY, I have also given the FDD and valuation, same for the profile. But the thing is, like, these audit domains are actually being showcased over the LinkedIn. The people are
Correct.
not aware of these FDD profile and these corporate finance profile when they are having vacancy, because whenever there is vacancy, now they usually hire internally within the team, because
Correct.
vacancy actually happens in one to two numbers only. They're
Right.
not like the biggest crowd like audit and taxation move. So that's why you have to be very precise. You have to connect with all these people who are working in these companies with these domains, so that they can actually you can actually utilize the power of them, like they are into these teams. So they will let you know if they are gonna be friend with you. Now they will let you know that we have in hiring, we have just one opening. Sometime you will get one opening and one candidate, there is no competitor even. I have
Yeah.
got that chance also, like there are only two roles and two candidates have been shortlisted. They are not even the
Wonderful.
third person, so you just have to perform well, then you
You
two
get
are
into
hired.
it.
It's that kind of thing. So that's the pros also, that's the cons also, because you don't even aware of that there is vacancy in these domains. You
Correct.
have to be very specific and very gentle with these people to make them friends and make them know that you are been looking for these roles
Looking for
actually.
these opportunities. Right, right. So I see, Apurav, that it's not been easy. Your journey hasn't been easy. It's like almost 1.5 months of hard work from your end in a lot of research, and then keeping up to date with these LinkedIn profiles and keeping an eye on what kind of openings are coming up and where to look for these openings. That is the main question. Like, everybody's on LinkedIn, but what exactly
Right.
should you do to, like, look for this kind of roles that you want? So what did you do? Like, how did you see? LinkedIn is a vast application, so you can do a lot
Right.
of things. So how did you, like, target, like, on LinkedIn? How did you make your bracket smaller and just target what you wanted? How did you do that?
In the start of the thing, like when we all get cleared our chartered accountancy, people were posting their different skills, and people were posting the news articles and everything. Like the news they are going on, like Elon Musk and the Tesla, and with the Twitter was the red hot news at that time. The people were doing all these things, but at that time I was actually doing the certification from the Wall Street School for financial modeling and valuation. So I was thinking I should post something about the certification. Then I was also confused that it's just half cooked right now. I were at the 75 to 76% of the position. So if I post anything with 75% of the knowledge, it will be very like dicey for me also to answer people's, and it will be very half cooked also for others to understand what I'm presenting. So I
Correct.
waited for 10-15 days more, and then I started presenting my models. I have prepared on the PepsiCo company, then I prepared as I got shortlisted from Adani in the campus.
Uh-huh.
So I have prepared to understand the Adani better, and for preparing of their interview, I have made the analysis over the Adani energies, Adani greens. That was the hot topic that time. So I have all the research I have made and all the numbers which I have gathered. I presented them into the that thing into the LinkedIn. So that was helping me out. That people are reaching me, people are asking for the model which I have prepared there. So that helped me a lot, getting the traction over the post I'm having. Then it was the only way that I created a network. It was through the models which I have presented to them on the LinkedIn.
So basically, you become very active with the real skill sets that you have. Like, for you, it was, in your case, it was financial modeling. So that was bang on. Like, it was like hitting the bullseye. Like, if you want to get
Yeah,
into a profile like FDD, or if you want to get into a profile of, like, valuations or mergers and acquisitions and investment banking, then the primary skill set that one requires to have is, I think, financial modeling. And you
right,
just didn't acquire the knowledge, but you also implemented it and made the projections for a lot of good companies, so that gave you that
right.
edge over the others, so that anyways portrayed you like, okay, this is a well suited candidate as compared to others. So that
Yeah,
is
actually, the best thing I started is like whatever company I'm having an interview. Now, for example, they're listed company like one of the company I've been selected is L Cargo Logistics. It's in Mumbai. It's a
Uh,
listed company. Then Adani is there, and then Max Life Insurance. So whatever good name comes to me now, I started analyzing the numbers. I started analyzing every knowledge which I've gathered through the financial modeling and valuation course now, analyzing their management discussion, analyzing their annual reports. I started applying them to their companies. So whenever talk to them to the interviewer, now they actually got impressed because of these things. They I used to ask me, you have made research about our company? Then I said, yes, I have made research about that company and I have analyzed these things. As per me, as per my judgment, this is the thing, and as per you have made this. Is there anything you have also think about this the way I'm thinking? So it got into rather than going to Q&A session of that interview, now it got into a discussion session. So that's why it helped me a lot in that thing. And the
correct, correct.
interviewer also gets excited when we discuss on
Impressed
a something
already.
rather
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
Q&A, right?
That's really like a like what you've done is incredible. Like you've done a lot of hard work and in the right direction. So that is what is like amazing, and I think it is going to act like a motivation to a lot of us looking at your journey and what you've shared. Uh,
Yes.
okay, so Apura, coming to our next question, what is the growth trajectory like? Like, what is next for you now in BDO or maybe in the domain of deal advisory or investment banking? Are you looking to switch now, or are you going to stay longer and create a firmer base for yourself?
Okay, not for the FDD. I'm not looking a longer growth trajectory. Not for the domain. The domain is having a longer growth trajectory because if you see now, for example, just take an example of a deal or something happening in the market.
Okay.
Whether you are raising funds in the market, whether you are doing M&A in the market, whether any investor wants to invest in your company, everyone needs to do FDD first, right? FDD needs to be done whether the investor invests or not, whether the valuation happens or not, whether the acquisition happens or not, but FDD needs to be done.
Correct.
All of the processes like valuation, M&A, and all is it's judgmental on the part of FDD. If FDD goes well, this will happen. If FDD doesn't goes well, then this will not happen. So the thing is that FDD is the center of point of all these things of fundraising, of startups, of investments, of M&A. So FDD is having a good growth trajectory. But as per my scenario, I'm not looking myself into the growth of the FDD profile. What I'm looking for is learning something in FDD. Like when you're doing FDD, you are checking with the multiple industries because it's not about doing one audit of one just manufacturing company. It's about looking every business because whenever you're doing FDD of a D2C client, whenever you're doing FDD of a manufacturing concern, hospitals, infratech, so you are looking 10 types of businesses all together. So what I'm looking for is like doing FDD of multiple industry when I'm having the hand of the business understanding of 8 to 10 industry. I'll like to switch to the industry side because with this I'm having the understanding how the business works, how that industry works. So I can easily look into that industry, whatever industry I'll happy to move
Right,
because
right.
I'll be doing 10 different types of businesses. So I can
Correct.
move in any of the 10 which I'm having in hand.
That's also a real nice way to approach it, or like a good vision that you've set for yourself. That okay, I'm gaining so much of knowledge, so I'm making myself like like suitable for a lot of other profiles in the industry area. Like you can get into the
Right.
industry into anything because you understand business now. You understand what every
Exactly.
sector works like. So
And
maybe
that to 10 types of businesses. So you can choose any of 10.
correct, correct.
It's
And
not like you have done C and you've joined oil company.
mhm.
So your vision got very specific to the oil. But right now, if you're doing FDD or investment bank now, you're going to learn about 10 different types of businesses. Then it's open pathway for you. You can choose any pathway where you want to go.
So we can say that from FDD you have a lot of exit opportunities. Like suppose you work in FDD for a long time, and then if you feel like okay now I've gathered enough knowledge or I'm well equipped in this domain, so then I can like the exit opportunities are a lot I think, and it opens a lot of windows. Like you can get into finance after that, you can get into obviously an upgrade is going to be investment banking after that. or you can
Yes.
do financial planning and analysis would become one more domain.
FP&A will be a little harder for you because FP&A actually wants projections and analyzing the things and making projections out of the numbers. Say it's
Mm,
like valuation side also. So it will be harder if you have 2 to 3 years of experience in FDD. It will be harder for moving towards FP&A and valuation because
correct,
they have some different roles. Actually, what FP&A happen is now FP&A may like you are having 3 years of historical data. Now you are projecting the fourth and fifth year.
right,
That and valuation happens the same. Like you are having the 3 years and 4 years of data. Now you are valuing a company over their DCF approach, for example. So you will be projecting over their numbers. What FDD
right,
do is FDD vouch that 3 years of numbers, the historical data you are using, whether
historical,
they are accurate or not. So FDD works and at the historical data. FDD works and at the present, and the FPN and valuation start from the present to future. So that's why
where
it
FD,
will be a difficult like from moving historical to the future.
correct,
But
correct.
yes, you can move to the industry.
Yeah. So I think FDD, where FDD ends, FPNA starts. It's like that almost. It's like
Yeah, it's kind
once
of
the
like
data is verified, then you think that how do you project
you
this?
will do valuation and then all these things like projections.
So amazing. So that is like a great, great opportunity that one may encounter once you've had a good base in your FDD and all of that. So I
Right.
think most of the questions were answered really well. So coming to one of the most sought after questions is like what is life after becoming a chartered accountant, or like after getting placed into like already a student is stressed out like, okay, if I qualify I need to land into a job and that has to be a good profile, and it has to give me a good growth strategy in the future. Also compensation has to be good. So what happens after that? Like after you land into that job, what is life after that? If you can just give us your experience.
Firstly, after I qualified, I was looking for the vitamin M again, the told by sir, like money matters. But the thing is, when it comes to the reality, so we know like with money you have also to see the domains you are having, because the some profiles are paying good, but they are not giving the role which I wanted to do. So that was a bit confusing. Even getting the offer letters from those, but I don't want to serve where the role which I want to have. So that was the only thing. Like you have to be specific towards what you want to get into the life. Like if you are looking for the role only, then you might be like for example, if I as I have told that I got offers from boutique banks, but the thing is the money am was matter that time because I'm having the role in my hand, I'm getting the investment bank, but I'm not getting the material factor, the money which will be helping me to grow.
Correct.
Even if I want to plan my higher education, I want to plan my MBAs, I want to plan CFA, I need the material money, right? So
Right.
that was not helping me in that case. So it was multiple factors. It was geographical also. It can be the money also. It can be the role also. You have to decide accordingly. Like what portion of the pie you have to allocate. You are
Mm,
allocating 50% to money and 40% to role and 10% to geography. Like you have to decide the pie. How much pie area will be money? How much will be the role and how much will be the geography factors or any other factors you'll be having.
correct. So you decide your priorities, you prioritize whether you were like, well, how much importance do I want to give to my domain, or how much importance do I give to the company, the brand that I'm associating with, or then how much growth will I find later on in this kind of profile. And then, of
Exactly.
course, money is one of the most important factors while taking a decision. So you
Right.
think about all these things and you set your priorities, and then accordingly you make a collective decision. So that is what I think one
Right.
should aim at specifically. Great, yeah, great. It was really inspiring to understand, like, Apurav, that you've worked so hard. Like, it's not just for the exams everybody works hard, but it is this journey which is even more important because this is going to
Exactly.
determine what your further career path is going to be like. So, being very fixed and having that clarity that, okay, I want to get into this domain, or I want to do this kind of job, or this profile is what I'm targeting, is like really inspiring. I think this would give a good mindset for people to develop that, okay, we should have this kind of thinking before we get into a profile, or this much hard work. We even after our exams we need to put in so much of hard work, and only then it's going to be possible to get into a good profile. So that's amazing, Apurav. It's wonderful having you on board and getting your insights on this domain. And FDD is also one of the most targeted profiles. Like a lot of students, especially from coming from a stat audit background, are focusing
Right.
and aiming towards FDD. So thanks a lot for coming on board and sharing your experience. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of us to, take these small tips from you and then implement it in our own journeys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.